Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to everyone as we join together in this moment. I'm going to invite us, those virtual, those physically present, to take a breath, take a moment, a pause. Really take a breath. Don't hold it in. Breathe it in. You know, I once learned that Shabbat is the savings bank of humanity. And this is a powerful, powerful message, because I'm thinking about those that are gathered here. I'm thinking about our virtual community. In a moment, we'll join together, we'll wave together, and we'll meet each other. But I want to just focus on this idea for a second, where we think about Shabbat as a savings bank of humanity. What does that mean? What does that say to us in this moment? You know, I started thinking this week. This week was a very just overly busy week, at least in my portfolio this week. Just, there was no time. There was not even time to like run and take a breath or catch a breath. And we all have weeks like that. We all have moments. We have days like that, all of us. No matter what age or stage we are in life, there are just those moments. And I realized that there are things that we need in our lives in order to become fully alive. And you truly never find them in the busyness of life. Rather, those things that we need grow in the rest. They grow in the moments where we rejuvenate, where we take a moment to pause, reflect, where we can create, where we can turn off the elements of creation and take a pause. And for me, this is Shabbat. I was so looking forward to this moment in this busy week, to be here with all of you and to be joining in this moment and to get ready for these 25 hours that are about to begin, to take a pause, because there are just the weeks when we need it, no matter what is going on. So this is the moment. Let's not run to the busyness. Let's focus on the rest, focus on those times, those elements that we need to slow down and to pause. Tonight we are blessed. We are blessed with our amazing adult choir that are here with us, back again, and we will continue on. We are not letting go this time. We are not. We are continuing on, and they are joined by one of our wonderful musicians, Jeff Shell. We have in our congregation this evening, of course, I'm joined by Rabbi Jeremy Gimbel, and I just want to say thank you to our techs, to our audio, to our AV techs that keep us and keep you connected. I invite those who are here physically, turn around to the white cameras in the back on the wall, take a wave hello, say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Then turn to one another, say Shabbat Shalom. Meet somebody that you haven't met, turn around, turn
Shabbat
to
Shalom.
the side. Transcend the mask. Don't take it off. Just transcend it. Just transcend it. Go. Give your heart. Give your heart in this moment. And so this is the time where we take and reflect. Remember, we grow in the rest. That's where we are in this moment. One of the busyness elements that we found this week for the three of your clergy was we get the blessing from time to time to sit on Beit Din, to have a moment to bring someone else into the covenant of Israel. And certainly, she has been no stranger to our community and has been here for the past year and a half or so. But this week was a very special week. And so, in honor of that moment, we're going to invite Cielo to Aden, her Hebrew name. We're going to invite her up to bring light into our moment. This is a moment where she brings it into our house each and every week, and that we can hold this moment with her as well in this first Shabbat, officially entered into covenant. So we invite you to light our candles as we join together to celebrate and bring Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר, להדליק נר של שבת.
So as we lean into that moment of rest, we want to bring our voices together in song and in spirit. We hope that the light transcended to Bolivia, to the Philippines, to wherever you are, to the faraway places of
La Jolla.
La Jolla. And they're here, and we're feeling you as one community. Join with us as we begin Kabbalat Shabbat this evening. We begin on page 12, the Chuna Ranana. Let us join together.
לכו נרננה, יאי לי 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 לי, לאדוני, יאי לי 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 לי, נריע לצדיק, ולשרי לב שמחה, שמחו צדיקים, באדוני והודו, לזכר קודשו.
Page 20, L'chadodi.
ושלום עצרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה לך
22. Continue opening our hearts as we're called to worship in this moment. Page 146. I invite you to rise at home. I invite you to rise in our sanctuary as you are able, as we join together for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed.
As we continue on page 147, we continue responsively. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom.
Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures.
Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai Hamarif Haravim. As we join responsively, in each age we receive and transmit the Torah. At each moment we are addressed by the world.
In each age we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment we stand face to face with truth.
In each age we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment the knowing heart is filled with wonder.
In each age the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Will you please be seated? We join together in the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta
את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך
וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Emet. We join together in our prayer for redemption, page 152, Mi Chamocha. Page 153, Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'amidenu shor Hashiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim Hashiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim This Shabbat is a special Shabbat, not just because every Shabbat is special, but because of what liturgy is found within this Shabbat's parashah. This Shabbat, we find the words that we pray every Friday night, the words of Vishamru. And at first glance, the words of Vishamru may seem rather innocuous. The Israelites will guard Shabbat and make Shabbat a symbol of their covenant with God for all time. In the second verse, we read, Shavat vayinafash. God stopped working and was refreshed. And if we look back at the story of creation, God is not refreshed. God just stops working. And the great rabbinic commentator Rashi says of this notion that God rests as if it was possible. This idea that God rests is not meant to be literally understood. Rather, it is there so that we might learn from this that we humans who work hard, who labor day in and day out, who stand up to injustice, who literally build a better world for our neighbors, that we might take a moment to rest and be refreshed. We continue with Vishamru, page 154. Vishamru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat liturgical berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat liturgical berit olam. לדורותם ברית עולם.
Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We rise together for our Amidah, beginning on page 155. Adonai sefatai tiftach Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Hasei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה, רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. We continue individually through page 167, and I invite you to be seated when you have finished your Amidah. Toratecha Iu Leratzon Imrei Fi Vegyon Libi Lefanecha Libi Lefanecha Adonai Tzuri V'Goali Aseh Lema'an Shemecha Aseh Lema'an Yeminecha Aseh Lema'an Kedushatecha Aseh Lema'an Toratecha Aseh Lema'an Shemecha Aseh Lema'an Yeminecha Aseh Lema'an Kedushatecha Aseh Lema'an Toratecha
In this moment, we have again to pause. The pausing also gives us an opportunity to reflect on those in our communities who are in need of refuat nefesh, refuat guf, a recovery of mind, of body, of spirit. Certainly, the names grow in our community for many reasons. But I know that there are those endearing in your hearts as well, and so I'll share the names of those that we hold as our community, and then I invite you as we go around our kahal, our congregation, to share the names of loved ones, perhaps yourself, that you're thinking of at this time who are in need of such healing, and those who are joining us virtually, I invite you to place the names of your dear ones and loved ones in the chat. As we think of Samantha Farish, Dr. Robert Fox, Denise Garrick, Nancy Gordon, Robert Gruder, Alan Habenstock, Ellen Hutt, Ruthie Jordan, Jim McIndoe, David Murillo III, Lynn Richard, Sharon Ritter, Karen Romer, Galina Robalchenko, Rhonda Schwartz, Bob Shearer, Cindy Spector, Gerald Trimble, David Tossman, Fred Valfer, Kathy Weil, John Weil, Sidel Weinstein, Bella Winston, George Wise, and Abba, Ben, Berta, Vishmuel. As I go across our community, I invite you to share the names that you're thinking of at this time. So we join together for a prayer of healing, a prayer of Mishabera.
Shabbat Shalom. You may have seen that during the last 2 weeks or so, the Winter Olympics have been going on in Beijing. And these Olympic Games have provided some of the more striking stories in recent memory. Whether it was ski jumping in the shadow of a coal and steel mill, as one Rabbi Jimmy Kimmel put it, yes, a symbol of global warming right in front of the reason why we have all this artificial snow. The opening ceremony, which featured a Uyghur Muslim lighting the Olympic torch in a moment that seemed like it was maybe taken from the Theresienstadt playbook. And of course, there were uplifting stories like Erin Jackson, an American woman who won gold in the 500-meter speed skating despite only having touched the ice for the first time 6 years ago. But last night provided one of the more obscure moments in Winter Olympics history. And it happened in women's figure skating. Now, women's figure skating is not immune to drama. Just think back to Nancy Kerrigan. And I'm not going to cover all of the drama surrounding last night's events, but here's the gist of what happened. A 15-year-old Russian skater had been a lock for the gold medal. But then, under the pressure of the Olympic lights, heightened scrutiny because of a failed drug test, and, well, she's 15, she fell during her routine. Her coach's response? Why did you let it go? Explain it to me. Why? Why did you stop fighting? You let it go after that axle. Why? In this week's Torah portion, Ki Tisa, we have another story of anger after seeing gold from afar in the episode of the golden calf. Moses spent 40 days going up to Mount Sinai to receive the 2 tablets which contain the 10 commandments. But while he was gone, the Israelites impatiently organized themselves and created a golden calf idol. Moses comes down the mountain, sees this, and in his anger, he smashes the tablets. God commanded Moses to climb the mountain once again, but this time he was able to bring with him another pair of tablets to replace those which he had smashed. Before doing so, though, tradition teaches that God taught Moses how to prevent national catastrophes, such as the one brought on by the incident of the golden calf, and another way of responding to disappointment. God showed Moses how to pray and whether to say and what to say in order to invoke divine mercy. That prayer is found within our Torah portion, a prayer which you might be familiar with, known as Adonai Adonai, which describes the 13 attributes of God. Adonai Adonai El Rachum V'Chanun Erech Apayim V'Rav Chesed V'Emet Notzer Chesed La'alafim Nosei Avon V'Fesha V'Chata V'Nakeh. Adonai Adonai, God, compassionate, gracious, endlessly patient, loving, and true, showing mercy to the 1,000th generation, forgiving evil, defiance, and wrongdoing, granting pardon. This text is a core of the Torah service on the festivals. We recite Adonai Adonai 3 times before the Shema. The 16th century mystic Isaac Luria suggested that the 13 attributes be recited before the open ark as a communal plea for forgiveness. We also include this text as part of the Slichot service and the Torah service on the High Holy Days. These concepts are oft repeated and riffed upon in later books of Tanakh. For example, Psalm 78, verse 38, begins, V'hu Rachum, God who is compassionate. The entire verse has, you guessed it, 13 words, reminding us of the 13 attributes of God's mercy named in our portion. Indeed, you can find variants or citations of this text in Exodus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Jeremiah, Joel, Micah, Nahum, Psalms, Lamentations, Daniel, and Nehemiah. James Lindbergh, a biblical scholar in St. Paul, Minnesota, also argues that the entirety of the book of Jonah may actually be a midrash or commentary on this text. In other words, it's safe to assume that this is and was an incredibly well-known text. The Chafetz Chaim told a parable to explain the teaching of Rav Judah, that God would not turn Jews away empty-handed when they recited the 13 attributes of God. The Chafetz Chaim told that there was once a wealthy businessman whose poor nephew pleaded with him for a job. The businessman gave the nephew a job and wrote out a list of tasks describing the nephew's responsibilities. The businessman exhorted the nephew to review the list every day. After a while, the businessman summoned his nephew to ask him what he was doing for the business. The nephew said that he had done everything the businessman had asked. The businessman pressed the nephew for details. The nephew replied that every day he recited the list of tasks that the businessman had given him and remembered the list by heart. The businessman asked whether his nephew had done any of the tasks. His nephew answered sheepishly, "No. I thought that since you were the boss, it would be enough for me to just simply recite the list aloud." The businessman called the nephew a fool, not exactly the greatest uncle in the world, and explained that the list was only meant to remind the nephew what to do. Similarly, taught the Chafetz Chaim, these 13 attributes, while given to the Jews to be recited as a prayer, are fundamentally guidelines for how we walk in God's ways. Indeed, if we are created b'tselem Elohim, in God's image, then surely these are the attributes that we too should emulate. So before we continue with our service, we're going to provide an opportunity for reflection. So settle yourself in your chair. If you'd like, you can close your eyes or leave them in a soft gaze. Take a breath and let it out. Take another breath that's even deeper and let it out. Take one more breath in and let it out. Consider these questions. What were some moments from this past week where I was compassionate? What was a moment when someone was gracious to me? Was I endlessly patient? Was someone endlessly patient with me? How did that change how I felt? When was I loving? When was I living my truth? Did I do all I could to show mercy? What evils should I forgive? What defiance could I have overcome? What wrongdoing should I let go? Whom do I need to pardon? And how can I allow myself to forgive myself? I'll invite you to open your eyes. In the week ahead, each of us is surely going to experience moments of disappointment, anger, fear. Moments that remove us from being fully present. Moments that shine a bright, golden light that is often blinding. Let these attributes be our mantra. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum Vechanun, Erech Apayim, V'rav Chesed V'emet, Notzer Chesed Lalafim, Nosei Avon V'afesha, V'chata V'nakeh. May this be a Shabbat of reflection, remembrance of those attributes of mercy and true rachamim, compassion. Shabbat Shalom. I'd like to invite one of the members of our board of directors, Herb Hafter, up for some announcements from the congregation.
Thank you, Rabbi. On behalf of your board, it's my pleasure to welcome you to Shabbat services this evening, greatly enriched by our choir. Thank you very much. I'd first like to thank our men's club for ushering this evening. I have just a few brief announcements. This is going to be a very busy week at CBI. We have 8 programs and lectures, including one very unusual, Biblical Nature Walk, led by Dr. John Greenberg, and also Exploring later in the week, exploring the book of Esther, led by Rabbi Gimbel, as he says, in a way that probably you didn't learn in Hebrew school, right?
That's true.
So that's going to be very interesting. In 2 weeks, we, of course, are going to have our Scholar in Residence weekend with Rabbi Carol Balin. And I want to urge everybody to attend in person. It'll be a much more meaningful experience if you are attend in person. As always, all you need to know about these events and everything else at CBI can be found on our website, cbisd.org. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. We begin to conclude our service by turning to Aleinu L'Shabeach, page 282, and I invite you to please rise. Aleinu L'Shabeach La'adon HaKol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית שלא עשה כגויי הארצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Please be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth physically, but whose souls are surely with us every day. We announce with sadness the recent passing of Shirley Jean Ferris, grandmother of Rachel Ferris, and Felipe Nieto. As you hear the name of your loved one, we invite you to rise so that we may honor your period of mourning. We're in the period of Shiva, the first 7 days following burial. For Gerald Becker, father of Lisa and David Granite, Deborah, Mark, and Daniel, grandfather of Elijah, Ezra, and Isaiah Granite. Paul Singer, father of David Singer. Patricia Spira, wife of Marvin, of blessed memory, mother of James, Azita Spira, Anne and Ted Spira, Ellen and John Hattenbach, and David Spira, grandmother of Ben and Melissa, Dave, Julia, Jeff, Aaron, Shia, Kira, and Mari, great-grandmother of Olivia. We're in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days following burial for Bradley Bendit, Ronald Fox, Chuck Hill, Jerome Levy, Nancy Farwell Lehman, Myra Rosenblum, Walter Schwimmer, Lee Brenda Gatoff Stein, and Maxine Trimble. Finally, we acknowledge the yahrzeit, the anniversary of passing, of Dorothy Aronson, Max Arnovitz, Max Asherman, Hyman Avidon, Earl Bale, Sadie Berenson, Rita Berger, Max Byrne, Pauline Blackman, Adele S. Blank, Sadie Breitbard, Max Brody, Seymour Calvert, Dorothy and Frank Cohen, Eleanor Cooper, Ralph A. Couch, Clive David, Irving Dean, Abby Dupler, Kathy Engel, Joseph Feinstein, Edward Fenton, Joseph Fishbein, Edward Fleischman, Jacob Friedman, Ralph Friedman, Bernice Gale, Rose Goding, Morris Goldstein, Charles Gordon, Jacob Gordon, Mark Greenbaum, Mel Greenberg, Shirley Harris, Gordon Haworth, Marion Howe, Raymond Israel, Marvin Jacobs, Ruby Kraft, Lisa Leavenworth, Bella Lebedinsky, Paul Leeds, Alice Lefkowitz, Raymond Lesser, Norman Levi, Bernard Levine, Irene Lipton, Malvine Khan Lowy, Harriet Miller, Ann Mintz, Leonard Neerman, Sylvia Nips, Joseph Novak, Bernard Novel, Sylvia Page, Michael Moses Park, Rose Perlman, Edith Perlman, Lillian Petler, Max Pincus, Kasra K. Pollock, Louis Priceman, Philip Ross, Ann K. Roth, Louis Solomon, Gertrude Saffron, Murray Moses Saffron, Nadine Savage, Joseph Shane, Max Schneider, Sylvia Lato Schneider, David Schoenfeld, Robert Scott, Yvette Davidas Shannon, Fred Shine, Norma Sherman, Betty Scholl, Faye Simon, Saul Simon, Stuart Smolin, Ben Snyder, Irv Stapsy, Frankie Stein, Ethel Stern, Sally Summers, Bella Schwartz, Louis B. Tischler Sr., Fanny Tropp, Zachary Tropp, Stephen Turkle, Frida Dom Uri, Erna Viterbi, Sidney Wexler, Charles H. Winokur, Seymour Winokur, David Wood, and Alfred Zucker. I invite you to also rise and share the names that are on your heart as our eyes meet. We rise together as a caring community, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shmei d'kudsha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'yimru, Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we all say, Amen. I invite you to place your prayer books down. If you're comfortable doing so, place your arm around the person next to you as we join together in our closing song, Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom, Shalom, Bimromav, Hu
יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. אמן. עושה שלום שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. ועל כל ישראל amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Join us for Motzi as we say the blessing together, and then join us outside for our Oneg Shabbat as we join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.